I'm going to make a video on something I've been saying a long time, at least a decade, that the mills are the main reason for why the Industrial Revolution happened in Western Europe before it happened anywhere else. You'll hear a lot of dumb people give a bunch of different reasons, and of course mills aren't the only reason, but they're the main driving factor, I would say. Now, the stupidest argument I've ever heard is that something like Protestant work ethic or something stupid like that pretty much is like the dumbest thing you could come up with why Europe reached the Industrial Revolution first. Anyway, I don't have much time here. I want to keep this under 3 minutes because of stupid YouTube shorts. Here we go. So what was the difference? I asked AI this, what was the difference between Asia and Europe, to decide who would reach the Industrial Revolution first? And I said, please don't use dumb theories. But of course, it started going to dumb theories right away. It started talking about, just really basic kind of like lowest common denominator historian kind of stuff. And he's talking about the 18th century. It's like the roots of the Industrial Revolution go way before the 18th century. Okay, so if you're going to talk about what started the Industrial Revolution, don't start in the 18th century. That's ridiculous. Okay, so I just said I told you not to use stupid theories, and you were full of them. The roots of Industrial Revolution start way before the time frames you were talking about. Why are you so slow, bro? So then it starts giving me other reasons like legal and corporate autonomy and all this stuff. All stuff that different parts of Asia had. Okay, China had advanced systems way before that, but he did, surprisingly, he put this at number 3. I've talked to AI several times about this, and I don't think it's ever done this so fast, but here, the mechanization of daily life, 12th to 15th century, though I think it did start before that. Talking about, mills, basically. Okay, so we're going to keep on going. Number 3 is the only thing that makes a huge difference. I thought about that a lot, but never heard anyone talk about it. Like I said, there probably is historians that mention that a lot, but I'm not up on my economic historians. I don't know the who's of that. Okay, so he's talking about by the 1300s, England had massive amounts of mills. And even in the year 186, England alone had over 5,000 water mills. So what this does is this creates a culture of mechanization, of people that understand gears. You're developing a whole scientific culture here, and that's really the important thing. Now, Asia had all this stuff. Different parts of Asia got there even before Europe, but they didn't do it at such a micro scale. It wasn't in every city. It wasn't in every little small village. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't have like tons of people that were knowledgeable on it. Is my main theory on that. Let's see if there's anything else in here worth saying. Oh yeah, just again, like China had corporate structure in the 900s, so you can't really use that as a big standout compared to Europe developing corporate systems like in the 1100s or whenever that happened. Well, technically it was like the 1000s as well, but maybe even late 900s, but it wasn't really widespread like it was in China that early. And of course, legal systems, I think I already mentioned that. So rule of law, of course, is important, but when both societies develop a rule of law and corporate structures, you got to look at other things. So I'm going to try to go real fast here. Okay, I already talked about that. As long as it's not talking about Protestant work ethic. I'm not saying the Protestant work ethic is bad, but there's a lot of good work ethics around the world that have always existed. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it. Just for the basics of this, for basics understanding. And then I go on, I said, do you think metallurgy differences played a significant role in technical advantage toward the revolution, or would you say the mills were a bigger factor? It said the mills were a significantly bigger factor, and I totally agree with that. China had good iron manufacturing and all that, so it really comes down to the knowledge of the gears and how that was ingrained into Western European culture. And also I talk about, compared to Eastern Europe, and yeah, they had not as much. They had a mill culture, but not as much.